Good day, learners. In this lesson, we're going to discuss and understand mental health. W- Question: why is good mental health and well being necessary? Alright, so mental health and well being are very important as they allow you to live fully and to function at your best. Like, for instance, you are able to do tasks and perform an activity or job at the optimum level of efficiency. Can you imagine the difficulty of doing a project or working on a job when you are not feeling okay? It is not simply physical illness that affects your condition. Your overall wellness make a lot of difference, and they are reflected by how you are able to handle things. Try to recall the times when you were too stressed or feeling so low and depressed. Do you remember how it affected your ability to accomplish what you had to do? Well, some people, when they are not okay, they find it difficult to focus or complete a task on time or do things very well. The personal satisfaction is also affected, and evaluation of the completed task by others will also be affected. So good mental health enhances our ability to relate with others well, resulting in satisfying healthy relationships. It also puts us in a good disposition as we interact with others. And also, it enables us to focus and make better choices because we are clear with what we want. It also enables us to handle the ups and downs in our life. Okay, so mental health or wellness begins when an individual sees himself or herself as a growing, changing person. High level wellness means giving to the physical self, using the mind constructively, channeling stress energies positively, expressing emotions effectively, and becoming creatively involved with others and staying in touch with the environment. That's according to Ardell 1976. The WHO or the World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potentials, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. This definition reflects the state of wholeness or being whole. Mental health is also related to high level wellness. So, Carol Reef considers well being as multidimensional that covers different aspects. So, it is also another concept related to mental health in which psychological well-being. So it is not only about having a positive emotions like feeling good or happy. It also refers to a number of positive psychological functioning such as self-acceptance, positive relations, autonomy, environmental mastery, purpose in life, and personal growth. So the level of well-being depends on how are we going to balance and hold across those stated dimensions. Let's discuss one by one. So, self-acceptance. In achieving wellness, very important. Self-acceptance is very important. Of course, you need to accept yourself and have a positive attitude with who you are. You need to accept what happened to you in the past. You need to accept your good qualities, and you should also know how to acknowledge that you have bad qualities as well. So, is what other people saying? We are just human being. We created a lot of mistakes, and that is normal. One thing that is not normal is that when we are doing something that is not good, and we tend to repeat it multiple times. Next is positive relations. You must have warm, trusting, and satisfying relationship with other people. So, uh, having a positive relationship with peers or in our society is very important in achieving wellness kasi sometimes if we have a conflict with others or kapag meron tayong kaaway, minsan may mga tao na hindi nakakatulog because of away. And hindi din healthy. Hindi din nakakatulong sa ating mind ang pagkakaroon ng negative relationship or kaaway na mga ibang tao. Most especially sa mga malalapit sa atin. Next is autonomy. You are independent and can resist social pressures. You can manage or control your behavior. You evaluate yourself based on your own personal standards instead of relying on the evaluation of others. Minsan kasi we need to accept also the fact na may mga tao na hindi nakaka-appreciate sa'yo. Or minsan, kahit anong gawin mo, meron at meron pa rin mga tao na nagsasabi or nakakapagsabi ng negative things about sa'yo. So, all you have to do is to focus on yourself. No, never mind those people who are throwing negative things towards you. Kasi at the end of the day, ikaw lang din yung nakakakilala sa sarili mo. As long as you know that you're doing something good, wala nang problem yun. Next is environmental mastery. So you need or you can manage your environment and maximize the opportunities available to you that match your values and suit your personal needs. So if there are opportunities, try to grab that opportunities kasi uh, at least 'di ba kung hindi man naging maganda yung result, at least you try, wala tayong pagsisihan in the future. Next is purpose in life. Many of us are actually searching for their purpose in life. So, kaya minsan nagkakaroon ng depression or anxiety kasi hinahanap nila yung purpose nila sa buhay. Why do I need to encounter this kind of problem? What is my purpose in this world? Something like that. So, those questions, sometimes maraming mga taong nagwa-question sa mga yan sa kanilang mga sarili. So, you strive to have meaning in your life by setting goals and having direction and intention for what you do. Nasa sa atin na lang din kasi on how are we going to view our life or kung paano tayo magkaroon ng magandang pananaw sa buhay or kung paano natin i-take yung ating buhay. You need to remember that all of us has a purpose in this world. So, hindi ka lang basta-basta dumating for nothing. Next is personal growth. You commit yourself to develop your potential, to grow and become the best person you can be. You are open to experience as you go through different stages of your life. So, as we grow, expect natin na meron tayong, or meron nangyayaring personal growth sa atin. So, dapat, as we go through the different stages of our life, dapat merong development na nagaganap sa atin, not just physically but also mentally and emotionally. So the level of well-being depends on how are we going to balance and who across those what I stated, like self-acceptance, positive relations, autonomy, environmental mastery, purpose in life, and personal growth. Next, common problems among adolescents. So, sabi nga nila, adolescence is considered as the most crucial in the development of an individual. So, bakit kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng mga problems? So, ano nga ba yung causes ng mga problems na na-encounter ng mga adolescents? So, here are here are some problems. First is problem with attention focusing. So, you are at an exciting stage of your life. So, the question is, exciting nga ba ang adolescence? So, may nagsasabing hindi, may nagsasabing yes. Yung iba, sabi nila, yes daw because kapag adolescence, meron ka ng mga bagay-bagay na nagagawa. On the other hand, yung iba naman, sabi nila hindi kasi at this stage of our life, dito na natin na-encounter yung mga different struggles and difficulties in life. So, at this stage, your energy is high. Activities are diverse. Your social life is also growing, and technology abounds with many things to do and get interested in. Many possibilities are also unfolding. Sometimes you get too excited with the many things happening around that you lose focus. Aside from your studies, you still have other activities like sports, music, outreach, weekend time with friends and family, part-time jobs, and many other. So the question is, how would you handle them all? Your studies suffer the most when inattention or loss of focus plagues you. Sometimes you end up not being able to deliver what is expected from you. You fail to do your homework, submitting projects, fulfilling performance tasks, passing exams, and many others. So, what is the outcome? Of course, the main outcome is you struggle in class. Inability to focus may be temporary. It may be due to certain life events or situations. However, if it becomes chronic that it already affects your normal functioning for quite a long time, like for example, you get repeatedly reprimanded for annoying behavior like fooling around instead of listening in class, or you have restlessness and you do not get to finish your work, with this being a problem for 4 months or more, it is then best to consult people who can help you. It is advisable to talk with someone in authority like your parents. You can also seek advice from your school counselors or classroom advisors. Next is mood swings. So, what is mood swings? Mood swings would mean the fast shifting of moods. Often you hear comments like, she is very moody. She would be happy now, then would be quiet later. Or sometimes he is friendly, sometimes he is a snob. It depends on his or her mood. Someone with mood swings tends to be irritable and can be very unpredictable. Like for example, an adolescent like you may feel energetic and happy and then suddenly feel lazy, sad, or irritable after a while. It is typically for adolescents, especially for girls, to be moody. So, if you will be the one to ask, sino yung mas moody? Is it girl or boy? Well, sabi nila curls, but of course, there are different factors. In some ways, blame the hormones which brings too many bloodily changes to adjust to. But if your mood swings affect your functioning, your activities and relationship with others, you will need to think about what is going on with you. Why do you think you behave in such way? What triggers the shift in moods? When do they usually occur? Sometimes kasi nagkakaroon ng mood swings, most especially sa girls kapag meron silang something na hindi nagustuhan. Something like that. So, that's one factor. So, we have also what we call mood disorder. So when we say mood disorders, this or type of mental disorder characterized by emotional disturbance that affect physical, social, perceptual, and thought processes of an individual. One example of this is bipolar disorder, like depression and mania. Next is low self-esteem. So, what does it mean by self-esteem? So, when we say self-esteem, it refers to how well you regard yourself. Teenagers with low self-esteem suffer from inability to maximize his or her talents and skills, believing that he or she doesn't have what it to do or perform tasks. You think low or poorly such affects your self-confidence. So, in order for us to develop our self-esteem, we must attend or we must join in different activities in school. Malay natin yung alam natin hindi natin kaya, kaya pala natin. Or that's very fulfilling kapag yung isang bagay na sa tingin mo is hindi mo magagawa. Pero trinay mo and then nagawa mo. So, that's very satisfying. Next is anxiety. It is normal to be anxious. We'll experience it every now and then, most especially adolescents. Sometimes we worry, we feel nervous, and this emotion is often accompanied by a reacting heart or trembling hands. It usually happens when we are anticipating something we are fearful of or when faced with difficult situations. It becomes a problem when it becomes chronic. Meaning to say, it is serious when it already affects your normal functioning, like when you start to experience sleeplessness, feel afraid for no reason, or experience restlessness. So, minsan kasi, di ba, feeling natin is pagod na pagod tayo or sometimes hindi tayo makatulog because of anxiety. If it is baseless and occurs in disturbing regularity that you have to stop doing your normal activities, it is already time to consult professional like a counselor or even your advisor. So, para ma-avoid natin ang anxiety, communication is the key. Sometimes we need to open up. Kung wala man tayong masabihan or pwede tayong gumawa ng mga other activities like doing literary piece like writing short stories, something like that, para at least kahit pa paano mailabas natin yung kinakailangan nating mailabas. Or better yet, mas okay kung i-consult natin yung mga friends natin, teachers, or kahit na sino sa tingin natin mapagkakatiwalaan. Next is we have also encountered, or adolescents also encountered, depression. So, marami ngayon napapabalita na mga taong nagpapakamatay or kapag hindi na nila nakakayanin yung kanilang mga problems. All of us experience feeling depressed once in a while. It is normal, especially when we face with a lot of problems difficulties, or frustration. But it becomes a cause of concern if the duration lasts a number of weeks and may have already impaired you from doing your normal activities. You probably miss classes or experience low or no energy to do your usual routine. You may feel gloomy. Check out other symptoms. So, very important na maging aware tayo when it comes to this. So, if you feel depressed, very important na we have someone to talk to. Communication is the key also in order for us to avoid depression or para hindi na mag-lead sa mas malala pa. So, and wag dapat natin baliwalain tong bagay na to kasi it is very alarming, most especially sa mga kabataan or adolescents. Next is eating problems. It is usually manifested by the concerned individual adopting extreme measures to lose weight like crash dieting and cutting down on food intake. If it reaches a point to extreme obsession to lose weight, then it may result in some physiological disorder like anorexia or nervosa and bulimia. So, what do we mean by anorexia nervosa? So, anorexia nervosa is a psychological disorder wherein the person keeps his or her weight as low as possible because of faulty thinking that he or she is fat and would want to be thin as possible. Sometimes kasi 'di ba, masyado na tayong uh, conservative sa ating katawan in which nasosobrahan na natin. The obsession is too much that it distorts perception of self and leads to unhealthy behaviors like becoming overly conscious of food calories, leaving the table to secretly vomit food out that has just been eaten, or taking appetite suppressants. So, sometimes, kailangan natin maging careful sa mga tinitake natin kasi baka mamaya mas mag-cause pa yan ng problems. Next is the bulimia. Bulimia is another eating disorder in which it is characterized by a cycle of binging or overeating, then purging what has been eaten by vomiting to avoid gaining weight. It is also a serious eating disorder wherein the person feels that he or she has lost control of eating and there is also distorted image of oneself. Next is substance abuse. WHO defines substance as hazardous or harmful use of psychoactive substances including alcohol and illicit drugs. Psychoactive substances affect the central nervous system by altering brain function resulting in changes in perception, behavior, and mood. Like for instance, kapag umiinom tayo ng mga alcohol, 'di ba? Sometimes kapag nasosobrahan natin, hindi na natin nakokontrol yung ginagawa natin sa sobrang kalasingan. Nakagawa na tayo ng uh, ikakahiya natin, or even when we are, or kapag ang isang tao nakapag-take ng drugs, di na din niya nakokontrol yung kanyang ginagawa. Kaya, it is very important na iwasan natin yung bagay na yun. Because the use of drugs and alcohol is a serious issue and concern most especially for teenagers like you. Many factors account for the use of illicit drugs. One major reason is social influence. Kaya minsan it is necessary na napiliin natin yung mga nakakasalumuhan natin or friends natin. Baka yung friends natin yan is negative influence sa atin. So, whether in the form of peer pressure or conformity. So, sila yung mga sometimes nakaka-reason kung bakit tayo nalululong sa mga substances na yan. Or kakaroon tayo ng mga bisyo-bisyo, something like that. You see friends and other people doing it and you think it is just fine and part of growing up. So, iwasan natin sa pag-iisip na matanda naman na tayo, it's normal na gawin ito kasi ginagawa naman ng mga majority, something like that. So, there are other reasons why some adolescents engage with it. It includes attraction to popular media work, boredom, rebellion, need to gain confidence to overcome shyness or fear and escape from problems. So, kaya tayo minsan nagtitake ng mga to like yung mga pag-inom ng alak or drugs kasi uh, dahil na din sa mga problema or minsan naboboard tayo or kasi nga mga kabataan mahilig mag-explore, gusto nilang i-try, something like that. So, iwasan natin yun. The use of drugs and alcohol has serious consequences to our physical health or our well-being as well as our academic and professional life. So, maaring merong negative epekto sa katawan natin, maging sa pag-aaral natin if you are still a student or maging sa mga professionals or mga may trabaho. Ano nga ba yung mga negative effect nito? Una is organ damage. Nagkakos din ito ng cancer. Nagkakos din ng hormone imbalance. Nagkakos ng mood swings, depression, memory loss, paranoia, and of course, academic failure. Siyempre, kapag nasobrahan ka na panag-inom ka na lang, mapapabayaan mo na yung study mo. Next is job loss, mas especially kung nakagawa ka ng something that is not good because of the substance abuse. Next is relationships with family and friends become strains. Diba minsan kapag nasosobrahan na tayo sa alak or mas especially kapag inuuna natin yung alak na nagkakaroon ng conflict sa family natin. Minsan is nasasagot-sagot din natin sila because of the influence of alcohol. Next is financial loss. Tama din yan. So, when it comes to financial loss naman, dahil sa pagbili natin ng mga bagay na yan, kasi sometimes it's very expensive. Minsan, mas inuuna kasi natin yan kaysa sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan natin. So, kapag nasobrahan pa natin, it can also lead to arrest and imprisonment. Most especially sa pagdidate ng drugs. Alam naman natin na bawal yan sa bansa natin. Next is, how can you prevent substance abuse? First is you need to keep good company. We need to choose our friends carefully. Dapat dun tayo sa mga friends na positive influence, hindi yung aayain tayo sa mga hindi magandang mga gawain. Make sure that the friends you are belong to influence you in a positive way. Next is deal with peer pressure. Huwag kayong basta-basta nagpapa-influence sa mga friends ninyo. Kung sa tingin niyo yung friends ninyo yan is bad influence, mas okay nang i-cut yung relationship ninyo with that friends. Next is, if you have a problems, wag po nating gawin or gawing solusyon ang alcohol or drugs. You need to face your problems. Hindi sagot ang alcohol or any substance abuse sa mga problema natin. Next is engage in healthy activities like sports, mga ganyan. Next is, if you have a problem, it is also important to seek help sa mga taong pinagkakatiwalaan natin like friends, teachers, workmates, and kahit na sino pa dyan, or even families. Next is nurturing your mental health. How are we going to nurture our mental health? First is care for your well-being. So how are we going to do that? First is think bright and think well. In other words, you need to be positive. Keep your optimism high. While it is not that easy to shift your way of looking at things and to keep an optimistic disposition, it helps to make a conscious effort to keep trying. Look on the bright side of life. Count your blessings. So, based on the pursuit of happiness, don't ever let someone tell you you can't do something. Not even me. You got a dream, you got to protect it. You want you want something, go get it. Period. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Itong quotation nito from Pursuit of Happiness. So, wag daw natin hayaan na ma-influence tayo ng ibang tao. Kung meron silang sinasabi towards us, kasi minsan, di ba, yung mga tao sinasabi natin hindi natin to kaya, what we need to do is to prove them wrong. So, wag natin hayaan na maka-influence sila sa atin negatively. Kung meron kang pangarap, just go for it. Next is do what is right. Take good action. In many instances, you know the right thing to do. So, matanda na tayo, alam na natin kung ano yung mga tama at mali. You have gone thus far up the ladder of education. You have been taught well. What hinders you from doing what is right? If uncertain or confused, seek guidance. Ask for help. Consult your parents, teachers, counselors, and other people you trust who you are mature enough to give you sound advice. Always choose the right thing and take a good action. So, if you are confused kung tama bang gawin to, mas okay to seek advice daw from uh, authorities like parents natin or sa mga mas matured sa atin. Okay, next is be on the move. Move your body. Exercise. It does not only keep you fit, it also lifts your mood and it also energizes you. So, nakakatulong din daw po sa ating mental health ang pagkakaroon ng or pag-engage ng mga different activities like pag-gym or pag-engage sa mga sports. Next is be strong and you should know how to manage your stress. Know what gives you stress and deal with them. So, isipin natin kung ano nga ba yung mga nakakapagdulot sa atin ng stress and dapat alam natin kung paano natin i-deal yung mga yon. You need to find ways to slow down and relax. As the old saying goes, take time to smell the flowers. Look away from your gadgets. Unplug yourself from tools and technology. Enjoy the beauty of nature. Breathe some fresh air. You need it. We all do. Do not let hardship knock you down. Instead, make them fire you up to strengthen and develop yourself. Be like a raw diamond perfected by time, fiction, and fire. Be strong and also be resilient. Lift yourself. Next is lift yourself up and build your confidence. So, how are we going to do this? First is avoid negative self-talk. Dapat maging positive ka lagi. Next is value and develop your abilities. Dapat pinapahalagan mo kung saan ka magaling at mas lalo mo pang i-develop yan by means of engaging in activities related sa mga bagay na kung saan magaling ka para mas lalo pa yan ma-develop. Next is find your strength and build from them. Very important din na dapat alamin natin kung saan tayo magaling at mas lalo pa natin siyang i-build or i-develop. And next is know your weaknesses. Turn them around and enhance them. So, kung meron kang something na hindi magaling, so, or hindi ka magaling sa ganito, so, anong gagawin natin? Mas lalo pa nating i-enhance. Next is love your physical features. They are gift from above. So, you should know how to love yourself daw. Dapat, you should know how to be contented in who you are and what you are. Next is stay away from people that devalue your worth. Dun lang daw tayo sa mga taong nagva-value sa atin or nakikita yung good side sa atin. Iwasan natin yung mga negative people. Avoid negative people. So, umiwas tayo sa mga yon, yung mga nagkakos ng mga stress sa atin. And lastly, surround yourself with things that inspire you and people that make you happy. Another is find peace inside and out. Accept yourself and your circumstances. It is the best point to bring about changes. If you wish, regularly take quiet time to be at peace. Bring peace around you, for it ultimately goes back to you. And lastly, we need to develop life skills. There are other skills you need to learn for successful living. These are some basic things you will need to know as you continue on in your journey toward building a career and life of your own. What are those things that we need to develop? First is learn to manage time. Learn how to budget. Learn how to despair or fix things at home. Learn to cook, learn how to apply first aid, learn to navigate the city via commute, learn to ask around for help, learn our laws, learn to survive even without gadgets and technologies, learn basic self-defense and survival skills. So, very important po yun. Next is pinaka-last, establish a support network. Establishing a support network can help us to have a group we can turn to when we need someone to talk to or for seek for some help. All right, so that's is all about our topic. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learn.